Brazil's Supreme Court has upheld a ban on social media company X following owner Elon Musk's actions set to go against the country's law.
Why is this happening, and what does this mean for free speech in the country and across the world? We explore these questions with Jeremy Tedesco. He's a senior counsel at the Alliance Defending Freedom.
Well, sure. In Brazil, there's actually been a fight going on between a justice of the Supreme Court in Brazil, Moraes, and Elon Musk over the last few months, a little bit over a year, where that justice was put in charge of determining whether misinformation and fake news and other online content was becoming unsafe. The kind of terms we hear in these kind of battles, right? Unsafe for democracy, unsafe for the people of Brazil. And he made that determination that it was, and there were orders that went out to try to shut down the accounts of numerous political dissidents in Brazil. Some of the social media companies, Google, Facebook, and others, complied with those orders, but Elon Musk would not. So he's a champion of free speech. And so that has led to where we are now. Just a few days ago, this justice ordered Elon Musk to identify a legal representative in Brazil. Musk declined to do so, and in response to that, the justice ultimately banned the platform in Brazil. But understand that legal representative, the reason why Musk didn't have any more employees in Brazil is because he was afraid that those employees were going to get arrested. So the idea that he was being ordered to identify a legal representative in Brazil was problematic to him, I'm sure, because he was afraid he was going to put that person's life at risk.
So, Jeremy, Musk pushed back on this ruling, saying that free speech is the bedrock of democracy and that there are political reasons behind the judge's decision. Can you go into more detail about that?
Well, it looks to us like this is an attempt by those in power in Brazil to shut down political dissidents, their political opposition, and to try to use social media companies to do that work. And that's something that is incredibly alarming. It is not just happening in Brazil, it's happening across the world. We saw our own government in the United States do this during the last election cycle with the Hunter Biden laptop story. With COVID, information being shared online deemed to be misinformation and things like that. There's been cases at the U.S. Supreme Court outlining all the facts and information showing that the Biden administration clearly was putting pressure on big tech companies to censor at their behest. We're seeing this happen in other countries as well. This is the action of tyrants, of authoritarians. Frederick Douglass said that free speech is the biggest fear of tyrants and is the first thing they strike at when they're trying to shut down debate, dialogue, and any challenge to their power and to the kind of order they're trying to establish. So we shouldn't be surprised by this, but we also must be courageous in pushing back against it, like Musk has been.
And Jeremy, this is very significant considering that Brazil is one of the largest markets for this social media platform X. So what needs to be done in order to expand open discourse?
Well, one of the things your listeners should know is that there's not, because this is coming from the Supreme Court of Brazil, there's not a lot of options in Brazil to try to resolve this legally. So our team at ADF International, we have an international team that wrote to an international commission that has authority over Brazil to try to hold Brazil accountable to their own commitments to free speech, written right into the words of Brazil's constitution, are very clear statements that the government cannot engage in this kind of ideological censorship. And other efforts are being made to try to advise Congress on things that they might be able to do to hold Brazil accountable. And so, we're right at the beginning of stages of this, but there needs to be a public outcry. And we certainly have seen some of that, but I think that needs to grow and escalate as well. We certainly can't see nations that fit, I think, well within the Western tradition, like Brazil, engaging in this kind of authoritarian censorship when it comes to free speech.
Well, thank you so much for your contribution. Jeremy Tedesco, Senior Counsel at the Alliance Defending Freedom.
Thank you.